Shalom, and welcome to Hebrew Bible Secrets with your host, Rabbi Jeremy Beaton. We continue today with the book of Matthew, starting at chapter 14. Matthew chapter 14, verse 1. 1. At that time, Herodes, the distant ruler, one of the four princes, heard of the fame of Yahushua. 2. And said to his servants, "This is Yehochanan, John, the immerser. He has risen from the dead, and therefore mighty works are shown forth through him." 3. For Herodes had laid hold on Yehochanan, John, and bound him, and put him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife. 4. For Yehochanan, John, said to him, "It is not lawful according to Torah for you to have her." 5. And when he would have put him to death, he feared the multitude, because they counted him as a prophet. 6. But when Herodes' birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them, and pleased Herodes. 7. Whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatever she would ask. 8. And she, being instructed of her mother, said, "Give me here Yehochanan, John, the immerser's head on a platter." 9. And the king was sorry, nevertheless, for the oath's sake, and them which sat with him, he commanded it to be given to her. 10. And he sent and beheaded Yehochanan, John, in prison. 11. And his head was brought in on a platter and given to the damsel, and she brought it to her mother. 12. And his disciples came and took up the body and buried it, and went and told Yahushua. 13. When Yahushua heard it, he departed there by boat into a deserted place, and when the people had heard there, they followed him on foot out of the cities. 14. And Yahushua went forth, and saw a great multitude, and was moved with compassion towards them. And he healed their sickness. 15. And when it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, "This is a deserted place, and the time is now past. Send the multitude away, that they may go into the villages and buy food for themselves." 16. But Yahushua said to them, "They need not depart. You give them food to eat." 17. And they said to him, "We have here only 5 loaves and 2 fishes. 18. He said, "Bring them here to me." 19. And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass, and took the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, and looking up to the Shamayim, to the heaven, he said the benediction, and broke it, and gave the loaves to his disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. 20. And they did all eat, and were filled, and they took up the fragments that remained, 12 baskets full. 21. And they that had eaten were about 5,000 men, besides women and children. 22. And straightway Yahushua constrained the disciples to get into a boat, and to go before him to the other side, while he sent the multitudes away. 23. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain to petition. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. 24. But the boat was now a great distance from the land, tossed with waves, for the wind was against it. 25. And in the 4th watch of the night, Yahushua went to them, walking on the sea. 26. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified, saying, "It is a ruach, a spirit," and they cried out for fear. 27. But straightway Yahushua spoke to them, saying, "Be of good courage, it is I, be not afraid." 28. And Kepha, Peter, answered him and said, Rabbi, if it be you, command me to come to you on the Ma'im, on the water. 29. And he said, Come. And when Kepha Peter had come down out of the boat, he walked on the Ma'im, on the water, to go to Yahushua. 30. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to drown, he cried, saying, Rabbi, rescue me. 31. And immediately Yahushua stretched forth his hand and caught him and said to him, O you of little faith, why did you doubt? 32. And when they were come into the ship, the wind ceased. 33. Then they that were in the boat came and bowed before him, saying, Of a truth, you are the Son of Elohim. 34. And when they were gone over, they came into the land of Gennesaret. 35. And when the men of that place had knowledge of him, they sent out into all that country round about, and brought to him all that were diseased. 36. And besought him that they might only touch the zizzes of his garment, and as many as touched the zizzes were healed completely. So thereby ends chapter 14. So we'll have a look at some of the footnotes. So the first footnote we have is in verse 1. At the time that Herodes, the distant ruler, one of the four princes, heard of the fame of Yahushua. So we've got four princes here. So let's have a look at this word, princes. Munster's Hebrew. His Abba, his father, divided his kingdom into four parts, and he was ruler of one part of it. Okay, so that's Herodes we're talking about now. He's the ruler of one part of the kingdom that was divided into four parts. So the next footnote we have is in verse 5. And when he would have put him to death, he feared the multitude because they counted him as a prophet. So we have a footnote here for the word prophet. So many today fear the people around them when it comes to Yahweh's Kadosh marriage laws of polygamy and monogamy, but seem quite happy to live serial monogamy. So it's giving you the understanding that polygamy is given by the Father, Abba Yahweh, by God. So if you want to marry more than one wife, it's lawful in God's eyes, as long as you can take care of the second wife and the children, obviously, then it's possible to have more than one wife. So the next footnote we have is in verse 6. But when Herodes' birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herodes. So we have two footnotes here. We have the birthday was kept. So let's have a look at this. The dead Herod, the Abba, the father, as his day was venerated as a Sabbath, he was considered a Messiah of sorts. Okay, that's the first footnote. And we have the second one, the daughter of Herodias. So let's have a look at this. So Salome, the daughter of Philip, his brother. Okay, so the next footnote we have after that is in verse 10. And he sent and beheaded Yehochanan, John, in prison. So John in prison, let's have a look at this. So John was beheaded for teaching Torah. Would you be willing to do the same? So this is where John obviously spoke about the marriage laws relating to Herod's wife, who belonged to his brother. And that's why the mother wanted the head of John Yehochanan. Okay, so the next footnote we have is in verse 19. And he commanded the multitude. So let's have a look at this word, multitude. So we have here the 10 tribes, exiles of Israel. Okay, the multitude is the 10 tribes. And then we have, and he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass. So let's have a look at this word, grass. Grass signifies nations. Okay? So the next footnote after that is in verse 19 again. And we have also, and took the 5 loaves. So the 5 loaves is drash of Torah, 5 books of Moses. And the 2 fishes are the drash of the 2 houses of Israel. Another drash is of the 5 books of Torah. They all ate and were satisfied. The drash of the 2 witnesses of Aaron and Moses, the 12 tribes of Israel. Yeshua did not shun Gentiles or call them cattle, as some modern day Jews do. So beware, dignity of all humans. Okay. So next we have, and the 2 fishes. And took the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes. So let's have a look at these 2 fishes. So Israel is like fishes. So we have here reference Jeremiah 6 and 16. So let's have a look at that. Jeremiah 6 and 16. And it reads, Thus says Yahweh, stand in the ways and look intently, and make inquiry for the ancient paths, where the good way is, and walk in it. Then you will find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk in it. So we have some footnotes here. Let's just read the footnotes from it, Jeremiah 6 and 16. So we have stand in the ways. So the way is Torah. Okay, so keep the commandments. Then we have, and look intently and make inquiry for the ancient paths. So ancient paths, we have, the idea behind the Hebrew word is these paths are tried and tested and never failed. Meaning Torah is our way to freedom and rescue. The written Torah leads to salvation. Okay? So then we have after that, where the good way is. So the good way is the Torah. So the first 5 books of Moses. And it says, and walk in it. So keep the commandments. That's what it means to walk in it, to keep the commandments. Okay? Then you will find rest for your souls. So then you will find rest, which is rescue. So if you want rescue, keep the commandments. But they said, we will not walk in it. So many Christians have said they will not walk in the Torah, just like Israel rebelled. So if you don't keep the commandments, you won't have rescue, you won't have salvation. Okay? So let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 19 still. And looking up to the Shamayim, to the heaven, he said the benediction. So let's have a look at this. The benediction. The prayer is Baruch atah Yahweh Elenu Melech ha'olam ha-motzi lekem min ha'eretz, which translates into Benevolent are Yahweh, our Supreme One, King of the universe, who gives us bread from the earth. Okay, so that's the benediction there that Yahushua said before breaking the bread. So let's go to the next footnote, which is verse 20. And they did all eat and were filled, and they took up of the fragments that remained. 12 baskets full. So let's have a look at this. Remain 12 baskets full. So now showing us the allegory to be the 12 tribes. Okay. So let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 22. And straight away Yahushua constrained the disciples to get into a boat and to go before him to the other side. So to go before him to the other side, we have the other side is a Hebrew term for the side of the demonic spirits and not just any other side. This is known as Sitra Hara. Okay, so the demonic side is the Sitra Hara. Okay, so the next footnote we have is in verse 24. But the boat was now a great distance from the land. So a great distance from the land. So that's the Aramaic reading, okay? A great distance from the land. So the next footnote is in verse 25. And in the fourth watch of the night, Yahushua went to them, walking on the sea. So, and in the fourth watch, let's have a look at this. So the time between 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Okay, so that's the fourth watch. 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. And we have after that, and Yahushua went to them walking on the sea. So let's have a look at this, walking on the sea. Yahushua walking on the sea in the Drash is the allegory of the nations keeping Torah, as the sea represents the nations and his walk represents the Torah. Okay? So the next footnote after that we have is in 29, verse 29. And he said, "Come." And when Peter had come down out of the boat, he walked on the Ma'im, on the water, to Yahushua. So the Ma'im is the water. So let's have a look at this. Having faith even made Peter walk on the water. Okay, so the next footnote we have, which is in verse 34. And when they were gone over, they came into the land of Gennesaret. So let's have a look at this, Gennesaret. So the lake of Gennesaret. That now brings us to the end of chapter 14. And I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the other side. Thank you for watching. This is Rabbi Jeremy Beaton saying, Shalom, Shalom.